You're listening to Boss Ladies and Babies.
Business Blab.
We're taking off our mom hats and letting our entrepreneurial side show.
So grab a notebook and give yourself a bossy timeout.
Welcome back to Business Blab. This is Megan.
And this is Mickey. Have you guys heard the buzz about the new invite-only app that everyone with an iPhone is talking about? We decided to break it down this week for those of you enjoying it, having FOMO, like me, Android users, or just wondering what the heck Clubhouse is.
Yes, Clubhouse. I'm so excited to talk about this. This app is my new favorite place. It's where you can find me hanging out literally all hours of the day. It is all consuming, amazing connection building, just networking gem of an app that I'm so excited to be on. And I'm sorry that not everybody's on it, but it's definitely going that direction. So, stay tuned. But yeah, we felt like we should talk about it because the buzz for this has really been growing really quickly. It's been around for, I would say, like right before Christmas is when it came out. I've been on there for about maybe a month now, maybe a month and a half. But it's growing really quickly.
Yeah, so I'm really bummed and totally experiencing FOMO because Megan, is on it all day and talks about it all the time, and it sounds so amazing. And I still don't think I fully understand what it is. So why don't you teach us? Because I'm excited to hear about it too.
Okay, yeah, I'll tell you guys all about it. I'm just like so pumped on it. So what it is, it's basically like a live interactive podcast, but it can't be recorded and it's open to connecting with anyone in the world. So when you get on the app, there's like a hallway. So let me back up. When you get on the app, you can pick kind of what your interests are. It gives you a whole bunch of different topics. You choose your interests. Then you move forward. There's a hallway of all the different rooms that are happening that fit into your interests. So there's all sorts of different rooms on there. People talk about things from business to like manifesting and meditation to social life. There's like game nights, trivia, networking, literally everything that you can think of. There's people talking about it. And so then when somebody's hosting a room, you're on stage as a moderator and you can host a room solo, or you can have like a panel of other people up there with you. And then listeners come into your room and they listen to you speak about the room topic. So it's kind of like you're on stage with your panel. Again, it's audio only. People come into your room, they listen to you talk about the topic. You can bring them up on stage so that they can ask questions or offer more information. You can add them to your panel and make them a moderator as well if you want. There's no obligation to get on stage. You can just hop around room to room listening to little golden nuggets of genius from experts in every field. And since nothing is recorded, speakers are coming in and they're offering their best stuff for absolutely free. The amount of value and connection that you get from this app is absolutely incredible. Like, it is mind-blowing. So you can also apply for and then host your own club. It's almost like your own channel. You can kind of look at it that way. And you can do all the room hosting in your club, or you can invite others to come and host a room under your club name to help your name grow. And so all the connections that's happening in Clubhouse is kind of outsourced through Instagram and Twitter because there's no actual DM system in Clubhouse. So you're kind of bouncing back and forth between connecting on people on Instagram and then talking to them on Clubhouse, but then messaging with them on Instagram, if that makes sense. So like every time that I go on Clubhouse, I walk away with a handful of followers on Instagram because it's connected that way. So it's a really great way to grow your social following. And the reason why it's so exclusive right now is because it's in the beta testing still. And so it's only available for iPhone users, but it's growing really, really quickly. So we wanted to talk about a few tips that I've found that work with this app. So if you have it already, or when you do get onto Clubhouse, you kind of know what you're doing.
Yeah. So first, which is pretty obvious, you really want to get your bio right. You have unlimited amount of characters, so you really want the first 3 lines to stand out and grab people and be really clear on your profession. Since they're just looking at that, you know, your face isn't on there, like it's just audio. You really want to be able to snatch them with that bio.
Yeah, so what they see is like a bunch of little circles. And so you have your profile picture. It's like your little avatar, just a tiny little circle. When they click on it to preview your profile, they can just see those first 3 lines, really. So it's like you really want to be clear of like who you are, what you do, who you serve right there in those 3 lines. The next thing is when you get called up on stage. So you actually, there's a little icon where you raise your hand to come up on stage, but you want to make sure that you mute your mic as soon as you get up there. Your mic doesn't go on mute automatically. And so we've seen a lot of people come up on stage. It's their first time. They don't know that. So it's a little bit embarrassing that their mic isn't muted. If you're in the audience, though, and you have not asked to go on stage, nobody can hear you. You don't have a mic. You don't have to worry about it. That was one thing I was like, wait, how do I make sure I'm muted? How do I know if they can't hear me? They can't unless you choose to go on stage.
It's good to know. I could see that being like really embarrassing up there chatting away.
Yeah.
Okay, next would be give a few minutes for people to see your room. When you start a room, don't be discouraged if it takes a bit for people to show up. Just take some deep breaths and be patient. You can also ping people into your rooms and invite anyone in your room to do the same.
Yep. So you want to make sure that when you set up a room, you can kind of like market it on Instagram. You have a link if you plan ahead and schedule a time for your room. You can share out your link ahead of times. Do everything like you would to market anything like, hey, I'm going on Clubhouse this day at this time. Make sure you come join me. Also, one day I started a room by myself because I was like, let's just see what happens. And I just opened a room and I did not think anybody was going to show up. So on the flip side of this, if you start a room, be prepared because all of a sudden like 6 people popped in there. I was like, oh, hi. I didn't know that you were going to come in here. What am I going to talk about? Okay, here we go. So just, practice with setting up the rooms, but, you got to do a little bit of trial and error. And then when you do plan a room, make sure that your room will connect with your target audience. So you don't want to or need to go on and just use your room as a giant sales pitch. You want to go on there and share value to people, but you want to make sure it's the right people. So make sure that what you're talking about connects with your target audience, right? Or your ideal client avatar. And you don't have to be doing sales pitch after sales pitch. The value that you can bring, if it's something within your realm, will help bring you customers. But it doesn't just have to be what you sell. So you can do like a room on gratitude or, just something else that you're passionate about, as long as it's still going to be attracting the right kind of people that are going to come listen.
I like that. You can also create rooms inside of larger clubs. So find clubs that fit into your niche and reach out to host a room. You will get mass exposure to their entire audience.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a big one. It's like if you are featured on somebody's big Instagram or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a good idea to help get more and more exposure. And then this is a really big one, you guys. Don't question your value. You'll be able to help people with your knowledge just by showing up. So even though you can't see each other, imposter syndrome, I'm finding, is really starting to get to people on this app because everyone in there is speaking and hosting a space as an expert in what they do. But you have to remember that you're an expert too. So don't second guess what you have to offer or compare it to what others are saying. Just be open to learning, but stay true to who you are and your message and what you offer, because to somebody that is going to be valuable, and you're also the expert.
And don't just sit and wait for your turn to talk. We all love to hear ourselves talk, and Clubhouse makes it possible for us to have the stage. But don't let your excitement for sharing get in the way of the major value you can gain in this space. Make sure you listen and soak in as much as possible from others in the room. The growth here could be endless if you just show up and listen.
It's a big one. And then to also go in with a connection mindset and don't just go in to make a sale. So every time I speak on this app, like literally every time that I say anything, I end up with a new DM from someone that I really connected with. But I'm not just up there pitching myself every time. There are times if you're in the right room where you're able to give like a networking pitch, but I'm usually up there providing value, being honest, and truly looking to connect with people. And, you know, it helps. I have to tell you guys a story of something that just happened to me on Clubhouse. And this just goes to show that, like, if you show up and you be awesome and you put yourself out there and connect with people, it's going to back up what you have to pitch and you're going to really build that connection. So I just popped on a room one night. I was kind of like multitasking. I like to have Clubhouse in the background so I can like subconsciously take in more knowledge while I'm doing other little work things. And I see this mompreneur room. So I go in there and I was super excited, like to just listen to these like high energy moms talking. They open up the stage. I was like, whatever. My program is about to launch. Like I could probably add some value. I'm going to raise my hand and go up on stage. So I go up there. I introduce myself. They're like super excited about what I have to say. And they start asking me questions, like not to put you on the spot, but what are your thoughts on this? And what are your thoughts on that? And so, you know, I'm really up there. I pitched myself, but then I'm up there providing value and giving them honest information for free. Probably some of the stuff that I teach in my paid program, right? So everybody's so excited. I finish what I'm talking about. And the girl after me, it's her turn to talk. And I kid you not, this girl says, I don't have anything to add or a question. I'm just up here to hype up Megan.
Aww.
I saw her on here a couple weeks ago, and I don't really remember a lot of the client avatars that I see on here, but I was so excited about what she was saying, and I've been following her journey ever since, and I am obsessed with what she's doing. She's
Whoa.
awesome. And then she just starts going on, like talking about my Instagram and how I have a sweatshirt with my program name on it and how that's absolute dedication and like just totally like a hype man up there
Wow.
just from what she heard me saying on Clubhouse and came on there to help like boost what I'm saying in another room. Where do we see stuff like that? Like not very often. So make sure that when you're going in there, you're open to things like that happening and you're not just trying to sell yourself.
Yeah, that's really sweet. What a cool story.
Really cool.
Yeah. Okay, next would be to set some boundaries. So there's a lot of amazing stuff happening on that app, and it can become really overwhelming. The fear of missing free info can aid in a quick addiction, but make sure you don't let it take over your life, Megan. Try to look for rooms that you can either grow or learn from or add value to, and just skip the rest. The smaller rooms can really be a good place to hang out, to get more attention and grow stronger connections.
Yeah, you don't want to just look for some of these huge rooms where you're not going to be able to really get up on stage. I spent some time in a room where it was just like a podcast room, and I had 45 minutes of just one-on-one free consulting basically with an expert just because it was a smaller room. So that's it. That's all there is to Clubhouse. Well, there's a little bit more to it, but I don't want to overwhelm you guys, especially if you haven't seen it. It's probably hard to kind of picture what I'm talking about, but now you know a little bit more. If you see people talking about Clubhouse, this is what they're talking about, and just stay tuned because you're going to get your chance to get on this app. And I know social media is really overwhelming. It's just like another thing you have to keep up with, but this is the thing that you want to keep up with. So it's exclusive, but it will be coming to you soon. And I can't wait to see you in the club.
All right, guys. Well, until next week, stay bossy.
Thank you for listening to Boss Ladies and Babies. If you like this episode, be sure to rate, review, and leave us some feedback.
Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook and join the conversation in our Facebook group at Boss Ladies and Babies.
And until next time,
stay bossy.